Well, hello, and welcome to Opal City Confidential, a Starman podcast. It's time to go back in time, this time to 1954. And as we do with all of our time past episodes, especially these last three, Dave is here with me, and we're going to talk about another team up in the past.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me back. Always a pleasure. It's been a few weeks, a couple of weeks at this rate. But mere seconds in the recording. Yeah. Starman issue 46, published according to Mike's on the 1st of July 1998.
So there were 3 times pass in one. Yeah, that's a lot. You've just said in a row, but all in 1 year. I love. What do you think of this cover? This is my favorite cover in a while.
I think it's quite messy, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah. I think it's one of going to be controversial here. I think it's one of my least favorite in the entire series.
Oh, really? I like it because you don't get a lot of action in his covers, and I kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, the action side of it's good, but it's. I don't think the figures are distinct enough. I find it's quite untidy, quite messy.
Yeah, what is going along at the bottom? On that one, I'm a little.
Oh, excuse me. That looks like. Was the guy in the suit with the cigarettes? He punched this other goon at the bottom. Let's see how it looks in the omnibus minus the trade dress. Let's see if that changes my opinion. Is it the same? No, it's in the. Oh, it is in this one. It is in this one.
Yeah, because
it looks a little better, a little clearer without the trade dress and the barcode and the text and stuff all over it. But it's still, I think, to me, there's.
Oh, that's Bob. That's Bennetti at the bottom, isn't it?
I think so. So.
Yeah, that make So I guess the black. Is that shade? There are an awful lot of fists not connected to a person saying no. That
Yeah.
So it's
right, of course, yeah. Right.
I think maybe I just focus. I like the Jester's costume for a superhero costume. It's very Astro City.
I know what you mean.
I could see Alex Ross and Brent Anderson creating that. Very Jack in the Box. Yeah.
So Ross and I were saying before we started that we hadn't read. Neither of us had read much with Jester. So looking up his Wikipedia page, and apparently he first appeared in issue 22 of Smash Comics, which was in 1941. He turned up twice in All Star Squadron in issue 31 and 60, and I think in issue 60 it's just got to just be the big team photograph at the end, and then in Starman 46, and that appears to be it. It just does seem like, very much doesn't seem like very much was done with him.
Does he look too much like the Silver Age Toy Man?
I know what you mean, with the hood and stuff, and
I don't know. I mean, it's a very 1940s kind of character. You know, that it's quality, it makes sense because they were, I don't want to say they were more patriotic, but I think there was a different, there was a certain feel to them. I actually think some of them are better than, some of the art's better.
Yeah. I mean, they're called quality comics for a reason, really, really.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the wiki, it looks as though I haven't read the 2000s, the 21st Century Freedom Fighters series, but it looks as though that he was involved with them to a slight extent. So maybe I'll have to.
That book is really dark. It takes place on it's basically an Elseworlds.
Yeah.
Actually they're on an Earth axis kind of thing. I think that's how it is. But I enjoy it. It's invented. A lot of it's Vendetti, who did that Hawkman series, but it's not that Hawkman series. It's a little darker. It's really fucking dark.
I see.
They're basically fighting the Nazis. But it's in the future. It's in the it's weird.
I've bought quite a lot of it. I mean, it's probably stuff that I've bought, but just it's ended up in a pile and I've never read it. I'm not even sure I would have every issue.
When I was sorting through my comics, I had most of it in singles, but I'll sell that, but I'll get the trades. And I like it. It is, but I enjoyed it, but it's dark. It's dark. And I remember him being in the background. You see some modernizations of some other quality characters, like Red Bee and Red Torpedo. What was the other? There's some other
Yeah,
messed up ones.
yeah, I think he's
Uh,
one. Yeah,
I went Red Torpedo. I was like, what? Really? That was a super villain, superhero?
yeah. I mean,
Um,
I think you're right though. Jester does have a very interesting sort of look. It's quite an individual sort of costume, and it's like I can imagine like the right author. I mean, it's a source of frustration actually with All Star Squadron that there's a lot of characters that Roy had the potential to use and just didn't. Like Mister Terrific pops up in a couple of group shots and that's it.
yeah,
And
I get that.
and he doesn't. And you just sort of think, well, come on, Roy, relax a bit. You've got the entire toy box here. You can maybe, it takes ages for him to use Airwave. Takes ages for him to use Blackhawk. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I agree. That and this is what I like what Robinson does, and he's adding the interesting ones to the universe.
Yeah,
He did
yeah.
Fawcett. Now we're getting a little quality. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I mean that's true. I mean, obviously, Phantom Lady being published for quality, now we're getting, Jester, one of the other ones, and that's quite interesting.
Yeah,
It's feeding
I
in.
like that. So we get the creative team on this one is it's James Robinson and Gene Ha. It is freaking
Stunning,
stunning. From I
stunning,
mean,
Jinx, stunning is the word.
no
Because
shit.
Gene is Gene is next level. I mean, I remember the first. I think because he did an issue of the Shades miniseries, didn't he?
Yeah,
And just being stunned by that, and this is just phenomenal.
you believe you're in the past
Yeah,
right
he's
off
he's
that.
such a he does such a skilled sort of thing where everything sort of looks like it's not quite in monochrome, but the coloring is also subtle. Apart from the olives that the Shade and Bobo have picked out of their drinks in the first couple of
Yeah,
pages.
it's the only primary color. It's very
Yeah,
brown. It's who his art reminds me of, and I mean this is a compliment both ways. That it's very the when he we're looking at an Art Deco building with a high level of detail,
yes.
with a cityscape
It's
with a high
unreal.
level of detail.
It's
And if you look to the upper
ridiculous.
right, you can actually see the stones on a bridge,
Yeah, yeah,
you
it's
know, and the
insane.
different buildings have different textures and different
Yeah,
it reminds me of Marshall Rogers.
sure, okay,
Like it's
got
you know
you.
what I mean? But
Yeah,
even more detailed.
yeah. I mean,
Ha is like you said, different level. He's one of these guys that it's like, why aren't you working every day?
yeah. Why aren't you? Please, could you draw everything? I mean,
Yeah.
he's so skilled. It's like because he draws people like to a level of because he's coloring it in as well. It helps. I mean, it's the complete package. He draws people to such a level of photorealistic or photorealism. It's insane. This one, I mean,
And it
what was
never
it? What
looks
was the
like
one
it
What
never
was the one
looks
he
like
did with Alan Moore? It was top 10, wasn't it?
oh my God, top 10. Yeah, top 10. And
Um,
it's amazing. There's you were talking about the photorealism. What I like about it is it never gets to that point of like Leonard Kirk. I think that's not him. There's an artist who uses models and it's just like,
right.
and it's
Sure.
bad. It's like, dude, everybody can see you're just using the same 10 photographs.
Got you. Yeah.
But they look photoreal, but it never gets past like
Yeah.
like almost like Dave Gibbons sometimes. He's not as good as
Hmm.
Gina at it, but every once in a
Hmm.
blue moon he gets it. But I feel that it's still an interpretation. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, of
I'm
course.
not, and the level of detail in all of it. We've got Bobo in the shade having a conversation
Yeah.
about Bobo's trying to tell the shade, they're here to kill Starman and I don't want them killing him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we shouldn't be killing the superhero. We shouldn't
Yeah.
kill people. Um,
I love how young the Shade looks in this story.
yeah, he
In these
does.
initial
What
pages.
happened in those
Yeah.
40 years, man?
Yeah. He
Fighting
looks
Gay
very
Jared,
young.
drag it out of you.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because he talks about the fiddler, the icicle, and the gambler, and he thinks they're going to kill Starman.
yeah,
Yeah.
I like that though. But it's just like you're watching a 30s movie again. Like
Oh, right.
they're
Because
having
wait a
fun.
minute. Of course. Yeah, I'd forgotten this because this is set in 1954. So they're talking about. Um, there's a brief mention of the Starman in 1951 and how he died because obviously
Yeah,
Ted isn't really fit at this point.
yeah. because this is what, oh my God. I
But
mean,
wait a
I
minute,
like
I've got
this.
that wrong because they said he is back. Right.
He is back.
He is back. Yeah, brighter than ever, as Shade says. Yeah, because they see the bad guys see Opal City as easy pickings. So, and Bobo knows that Shade is, and maybe in a position to do something about it.
Yeah, like I mean, everybody knows the bad guys all know he lives there, and they also know the rule is you don't shit in my yard.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and so Bobo knows that the Shade doesn't want someone coming from out of town to kill Starman.
Yeah, and it's a
That
similar
this
reason
would be in his best interest. He does.
Yeah.
They don't bother one another. We
Yeah.
don't even know if Ted knows he lives here. Ted may be just clueless to it. Does he know?
Yeah, because it's as Bobo points out, he says here, I know you're an Opal boy and you've never fought Starman. You do your crimes out of state. You fight Johnny Quick. And Shade takes a little sip from his drink and says, no, the Flash.
Yeah, I
And
think he's a
Bobo's
little
like,
put off. It's like,
Yeah.
I would not battle Johnny Quick. How that's beneath me. You pig. That's Max Mercury,
Yeah, I want to.
I-
Hey, that's one thing we should talk about. Actually, we didn't talk about the Superman movie. Is the fact that Max Mercury is on that mural in the Hall of Justice.
Yeah, is it in
Man, if he did
two
it-
places, right?
Yeah,
Two of his different aliases. Yeah.
Is he going to do are we going to get a Max Mercury show? Or are we going to get a Max Mercury movie? Can you imagine, Windrunner and all that stuff? Oh, it'll be terrific. Anyway, listeners, what do you most want to see from the future from James Gunn? Write in and let us know.
Yes, let me know. Because he'll use anybody. He's a nerd. He's doing deep picks, so deeper than I think we think. I like this whole. What did you think of this whole conversation in the bar? It takes a few pages, but I think it works. There's so much. This is what I do with a Gene High comic. Like I read the page and then I will stare at a page sometimes for 10, 15 minutes looking at just all the stuff he puts in it. That bottom of when the conversation ends and you see the lower part of the lounge they're at and all the different types of people in it.
It's because there's so many, exactly. There's so many little, even like the details of the paintings on the wall and stuff and the architecture. You want to go back and look at the whole thing and, look at the olives piling up on a table in front of them. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's a movie. It really is.
It is. It's very
you can
much.
imagine music playing in the background and this sort of stuff, and it all sort of finishes up with like Bobo saying that he doesn't want to grass up to rat on the other villains, but equally as interesting as the Shade says, I don't care if Starman lives or dies, and that's the line that he leaves with. So Bobo obviously is Bobo is conflicted. So then over the next page, we see Ted fighting. Who's this? He's fighting the Go Lightly gang. Amazing.
There is something about that silhouette that, I think Gene Ha has a guy in a costume like that in most comics. He definitely does that here in Top 10. There's a dude dressed. I think I wouldn't be surprised that if they're the same characters.
It could be. Yeah.
I love seeing it's just they're so beneath Ted. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like,
sure.
What a bunch of like. I love it. They're very funny, and they look like real people. They don't have a fake physique. It looks like two just normal teeth studs.
Sure.
Put a costume together and start running around.
Yeah.
I love Ted on that page too.
Yeah. I mean,
is he laughing at them?
It looks like it, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. And then, of course, he hears the bells and the Jester turns up to give him a hand. That's interesting. On the cover, it says 1954, but on the page, it says 1952. Interesting.
Okay.
Never knows
Someone
that.
Again, the editors were not speaking. No one proofed the cover.
Well, I think it was around this time that Archie Goodwin had died, wasn't it?
Yeah, maybe. They put him as guy. He still credited his guy. The editor's Tomasi, and it's...
So maybe a couple of details like that were sort of slipping through. I mean, it's Jester turns up basically because he's after Bobo for committing a crime in Jester's sort of neck of the woods. But look at the detail in the background here.
It's amazing. Oh my God, the whole stunning fucking city's there.
Yeah.
Every building is,
Outrageous.
there's none of that blank shape.
Yeah.
There's no silhouette is not detailed in.
Yeah. It really is
And
nice.
and the photorealism of the Jester kicking this guy in the jaw.
Yeah.
It was
It's beautiful,
that's
isn't
what
it?
that one panel makes me see. I want to see this dude drawn by someone else. Can someone else make that costume work?
I mean, I think like it's what Gene's skill is, the photorealistic sort of side of it. I mean, it looks like a photograph. It looks he did the Starman and Black Canary story in the second annual as well, didn't
Yeah.
he? That's right. It's
Um,
just I mean, it's beautiful just the way it's rendered and sort of and it's shades of gold and grey because it's maybe late in the day or whatever, and it's just like I mean, God, this is nearly 30 years old and it is wiping me out. It's next level. I can't think of anything I've seen recently that's anywhere near as good as this.
no, because no one puts. I mean, I don't know how fast he was, but he's only doing one and dones, and he doesn't
Yeah,
do every issue of top 10. He does. They do give him a breather,
yeah.
but it's his baby, so he's probably productive as hell.
Mhm.
It's just he is this one artist that whenever I see him, it amazes me. I mean, this fight scene on the roof, the detail and just the
Yeah,
texturing
yeah,
and
and all the different shading of the bricks on the chim on the sort
like
of the
there's
chimney
soot
stack and wall beside
and
them.
you know, the chimney on the top of a 5-story building hasn't been cleaned in 50 years.
Straight
Um,
to the
I love it. All the detail, man. And you can see in what is it on the page on the page after, I think you can see Starman's blast over him as he's leaping around. And
Yes,
all
yes,
he's a gymnast. He does cap kind of moves.
yeah, yeah. And then the next page is cool because they have their little catch up chat when they mention how they'd met briefly in the All Star Squadron days, and Ted thinks he's called the Joker.
Oh yeah.
That's quite funny. I like
Yeah,
that.
I like that one. It's like said oh yeah, because the Joker wouldn't be around now.
Well, this in this continuity. This is pre Batman, isn't it?
Yeah, this is, for this now it would be 50 years before Batman.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I like it. I like he takes his mask off and he looks like a regular kind of guy.
yeah. And we can. What's sort of interesting? I remember remembering this, thinking this at the time was they show him with his hair's receding a little bit because he's not as young as he was when he first started, doing the gig back in the day.
Yeah.
That's an interesting sort of touch, bit of realism in a way. Because that reminds me of like reading that Grunwald wanted to start to give Steve Rogers a bit of a bald spot back in the day, but Shooter was like, nah,
No, I
that's
like
not
this.
going
I
to
like that
happen.
he probably started doing this in 44 when he was like 21. He's 31 years old.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but I really like this whole conversation. And he gives us his origin. I didn't know who this dude was, It's like, okay.
yeah.
He was a police. Oh, it's another police detective. Then when are you sleeping, dude? Why don't you fight
I
better
know,
crime during your
I
day
know,
job?
I
Uh,
know. It's like him. You can imagine him and Jim Harper having a conversation when they talk about just how tired they are.
um, but he,
I like how it gives us the Jester sort of explaining how he figured out. This is hilarious. He figures out who Ted Knight is, that Starman is Ted Knight because he cross references Opal City astronomers, blah blah blah. But also the fact that Ted doesn't wear a face mask. You know, it's a nice little riff on that because Ted says, "What did one of my circle of heroes talk?" And it's like, "No, I looked at your face, man," is what you'd want him to say. But no, he just because he was a police detective, he worked it out. He figured it out. So there's a
why didn't
mention
he?
here.
I mean, I'm reading the Golden Age ones. It's like you're looking right at him, Doris.
Yes,
You're,
yes, yes. I always laugh at that.
maybe have you not kissed your boyfriend?
Yeah, I always
You're
laugh
not
at that
good
whenever you do those stories because it's so funny. It's just like, hang
because
on a minute,
I'm
come on,
like it's
Doris.
really tweaking me at times. It's like
Yeah,
I know me and Leslie have not. We're just folks. My world's been crazy since early June when I fell down like a klutz. But we still have to record our things, and I want to put together a little treat for you. And Leslie's going to be the voice of Doris. And I'm going to say the direction is you're going to say Starman's name, and I want you to say it with just enough undertone that you know he's fucking Starman.
Yes.
Oh, darling, where's Starman?
Yeah. So they're playing along with his delusion.
Yeah. Like, Jesus Christ, I love you, but fuck, you're delusional that no one knows it.
One thing I noticed here that's kind of interesting is the way the shading is on because this is obviously the conversation between Jester and Starman is taking place at night, and the shading of the nighttime sort of lighting, especially on the page where we see Jester pulling his hood back on. Ted doesn't look as if he's wearing red, green with a yellow star. He kind of looks like his colour scheme is the same as the Starman of 51.
I think it does, but the Jester's is really primary. Delicate. But the Jester's real costume is very four color. I think he's just taken it down, and he's pulled all the brightness out of everything.
I mean, I have no doubt that they were not trying to make it look as if he was dressed up. You mean, but it's interesting just he looks like he's wearing more yellow than red. So that to me suggests it makes me think of the Starman of 51. But yeah, so turns out the Jester is after Bobo, and
I like it that they go out.
That's why he's in town.
Yeah, I like that. They go to playing at the observatory, and then they go, we got to go find him. And then you have three scenes of scenes of them roughing people up together.
Yeah.
Get information.
And oh yeah.
And then so Ted has an emergency signal from the police. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That means you're an established superhero if you have a hotline.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But I like it. We get to the three villains. Very different. I like this a lot. When they go, you've got snipers all around, bad guys, and then you've got, I guess this is the Injustice Gang, Fiddler, Icicle, and the Gambler.
Yeah, and they've turned up, and it's really nice to see them because they
look gorgeous.
Gambler, the way when you first see him from the high angle, he kind of looks a little bit the Joker. As you can think of him from the 70s. And again, throughout, we should say there's all this beautiful background detail, but they're sort of saying, and Ted versus the three of them, and the Gambler says, I have to say, as a wagering man, I like these odds. 3 against 1, and then the Jester jumps down, obviously managing to silence his bells, and he says against 2, and the Fiddler and the Icicle are sort of stunned to see them, and they all start fighting. And then, but what we've missed is we've got these snipers up on the roof that are positioned. There's 5 of them ready to take Ted out as he falls into this, I suppose, trap of turning up to fight the 3 baddies. But then Bobo turns up and starts beating the crap out of all of the snipers.
I love it. I love Bobo. He always reminds me of Steel Jaw in Astro City.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
they have kind of same redemption arc, and they're both William Holden in a way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, God, remember how long it took for that story arc to get published? My God, it took forever.
I know.
It's Astro. When was the last time there was an issue of Astro City?
They had that one shot that was supposed to spark it. I don't know what's holding it back. Maybe Brent's getting old.
Yeah.
Because I mentioned it the other day that the omnibus that they were soliciting that I was going to buy, but it's just been pulled off.
Because you think of it,
I've got all of it in hardcover.
It was
I'm happy. I've got it.
It was that's 30 years since Astro City started this year.
Yeah, it's a great comic. Folks, it's readily available in reprint right now, and it
really is.
If you like the art form, if you like superhero universes, this is one you want to dive into because
some of and especially in the first couple of volumes of collected stuff, it's some of the best superhero comics I've ever read. My sister
Confessor one, where the Batman meets the Kree-Skrull War. Whoa, that's my favorite.
I remember when my sister, she won't be listening, but hello Alison, if you're listening. I remember when my sister came, the first Christmas my sister was home from university, and I'd Astro City been out for a while, and I was kind of late to the party. and I was just enthusing about it so much because I'd read a few issues. And I think I got the. Did she get me the Confessor trade for my Christmas that year, or did I get the first one for Christmas? And Alison bought me the second one as well. I think that's something like that what happened, because it was the half issue was the first one I read, which is one of the single best comics ever created.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. It's one of those one that is perfect. It is so good. And
The Nearness of You is the name of the story, and I've never forgotten it. It's the most tragic, romantic, sort of devastating. I'll probably go and read it after we finish, to be honest.
yeah. Oh, it holds up
Or
every so often.
maybe
I
we
read
should
the
do an
first
episode
trade
on it.
I read the first trade a couple months ago.
Let's do an episode on the Astro City half issue at some point. That'd be good.
Oh yeah. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna write that down because that's a really good one to do. Because it's this year's it's an anniversary crisis anniversary year.
Yep.
So
yep.
But I do I like get back to the fight scene. The fight scene's great. The Joker fighting the gambler, Bobo kicking the crap out of this the snipers and Starman and Icicle fight. I really do like all three of these character designs.
Yeah.
I liked how in the last times past that the Icicle was in, how they did it differently. Matt Smith did it differently.
Sure. Got you.
But Gene Ha doing the photorealistic 1940s costumes, it's always a joy. I love it.
It's wonderful. It really is. And it's what's interesting, of course, is that Starman and the Jester they're there looking for Bobo, and Bobo, not wanting to have the death of Starman in his conscience, he's taking out the snipers, but Jester and Starman don't know that Bobo is doing this.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where Bobo's taken most of them out, but there's still one guy he can't quite reach who's just about to fire, and then someone else turns up.
Yeah.
The Shade arrives and deals with the last sniper, and we see Starman and the Jester shaking hands with the gambler and the fiddler and Icicle stretched out on the ground, and they're completely none the wiser that Shade and Bobo were involved. It's amazing.
I like it.
This is one of the best stories that I think best issues of Starman that James ever wrote. It just shows how good a writer James is. It's flawless in its structure. It's brilliant.
I love that scene where they're Bobo and the Shader on the roof above watching the handshake. And Bobo's like this area goes, one thing, if you tell anyone I did this, I'll kill you. And the Shade goes, likewise.
Yes, it's genius.
And I love the Shade.
The Shade does it with a smile, which is good.
He looks a little like Oliver Hardy, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Oh no, Stan
Laurel. Yeah, God, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. In the closing sort of narration from the Shade, I think I really like. I'll just read that if I may. The Jester never did find Bennetti, not then, but 6 months later, Bennetti committed thefts in Opal and fought Starman because of it. He was captured and jailed, at which time Detective Charles Lane, that's the Jester, appeared out of the ether, so to speak, extradition order in hand, and Bennetti was finally charged with his New York crimes, by which time the Jester had long since vanished from the public eye, and Shade observes he was seldom missed.
Wow.
Which is fair. I mean,
it is fair. It is fair.
Not everyone's going to be a major leaguer, but this is. I'd forgotten how good this one was. It feels like an authentic old story at the same time. You can imagine. It's just so well done that Shade and Bennetti. Sorry, what am I talking about? Shade and Bennetti do what they do without Starman and Jester knowing about it. It's Starman never knows that this threat on his life was going on.
Yeah, it's very cinematic.
Yeah,
in a way that because of the very realistic aspect to most of his art, and the detail is you're in a real world, and I understand. I like an artist who has an extra skill set. Like he's a great colorist. Like he would be you'd hire him to do your colors.
Sure.
And he does his own because it's another layer. He builds a complete world with his art, because with all the muted colors, it really fits this time kind of that they're both older heroes. It's the sepia tone look. It's very cinematic. It's structured very like film or TV in a way.
It's beautiful.
It is.
It really is. And actually, looking at the omnibus in comparison to the original printed comic, the colors are even more muted in the omnibus.
Yeah,
Actually,
I'm on
the
the
original
app.
comic,
I bet it's
the
really
original
mute.
comic looks a little richer, I think.
Does it? Mine,
Yeah.
the app does not. The app was very muted.
Yeah.
Probably like maybe to make some of them they scan them because it's digital. You can't, you don't want to
Sure.
photostat. So they try to they are doing some recoloring.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can't, sometimes they overcompensate, sometimes they
Yeah. Yeah, Shag has
fuck it
talked
up.
about that a few times, and I think you have as well in the past, about how like color compared to the original newsprint, some of the digital coloring just overwhelms some of the line
It's
detail.
very, very, very bright sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, hey, I really like this one. And this is the next issue after this is, Jack is left for space.
Yeah.
And Ted's going to have some adventures at home while Jack is in space. And so will the Shade, and so will Bobo. So we have them.
Yeah.
I
mean, I think that's one of the good things about 46 is that it adds a bit more to Bobo and the Shade's sort of it's given a bit
relationship.
Yeah, hang on, I'm going to cough. Sorry. Context is the wrong word, but it adds a little bit more meat to their characterization and the history of the place. And again, it's a bit more sort of long-term planning for what might happen in the future. Because they're both involved in everything at the climax of the series.
Yeah, I really like Bobo. I don't know. He was just created for this. He isn't. There is no other connection.
Yeah.
Well, I like that. I like that he created one. What were the regular criminals like?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because he's a golden age hero, man. They fought bank robbers a lot.
Yeah, that's what Pete said. Pete said that he's found when he's been doing a lot of his deep dive digging to kind of for some of the golden age stories that we've covered on Earth 2. Hi, Pete, if you're listening. It's super supervillains are few and far between, and I think that's why
almost never happened.
That's why I think some of the main ones, like like the Joker or Grundy or whoever, sort of endured because they were obviously the more memorable ones.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. Starman Mist appears twice. Doctor.
Yeah.
That is it. A Doctor Light appears again. There's another one. There are only two of them.
Yeah.
Grundy's
in a couple of stories.
And they've been beating the Mists. The Mist is his bad.
Yeah.
The Mist would always pop up, which is great.
And it's like given what we're talking about in this one, like the Shade, as we now think of him, is basically a complete reinvention that starts when he comes back in the 60s, because the Vigilante fights someone called the Shade and the Flash fights someone called the Shade, and it's not too clear that they're the same person. Pete and I have been planning an episode on that for years. I'm not sure when we'll do it. I know that the Shade's involved in the next JLA JSA team up story, so maybe we'll do them round about then.
Which one's that?
It's the one that brings in the Shazam characters. Okay. You and Kirby are on standby for the Flash, and Brandon's on standby for Superman, and Chuck's on standby for Green Arrow, and Kelly's got an easy one because Canary's only in one page.
So just let me know what you need.
Steve will probably get Steve to do Batman again. We might get JSA Jim to do Robin. We need to start planning that quite soon. Actually, it's not too far off as the crow flies.
Oh man,
maybe that'll be ready in time for Christmas. Who can say?
Well, I'm looking forward to you doing more.
But yeah, we'll get you back as Jay Garrick, and we'll get Kirby as Barry again, because that worked really well last time, I think.
Okay, I hope I have a good sarcastic J line that we.
Yeah, so much for that idea. Oh dear, that was last year we recorded that. That's crazy, isn't it?
I know it is. Fun. It was I told Leslie about it I just said it, and it was like, okay, we're done. That's the take. Let's move on. Like it's not going to get any better.
No. Oh dear.
But hey, I love Gina, and just. I'm glad we talked about this early episode, same time today, that, James was having a rough spell here. It's around the time that Tony leaves.
Yeah.
The book is in flux.
Yeah.
The book is in flux. I don't think he planned 3 times past anything. I think he kind of they wanted to start the space thing at a certain time
Yeah.
to give Tony time to do that issue, give him, you
Yeah.
know, so some of these were planned and then inserted, but they
Yeah.
all think they add to it because
Well, see, yeah, I mean,
because there some version of them is going to appear during the Grand Guignol.
yeah, absolutely. And it's the fun thing about the times past, it's because Tony and Peter don't draw them, they can just have them. They're almost like inventory books that they can drop in, and it's sure, I'm sure you're right. They weren't probably planned to come as close together as they did, but they all work very well. And I think at this point, a lot of people are reading Starman are people that are reading it because it's one of the few places where you're going to see stories with the Golden Age DC characters, and you know, that's a couple of
and
the
then
bounds
being well
featuring them, and it works really well.
Yeah, I
And
don't know
just,
many people who didn't read this and then go, "Oh shit, why haven't I been reading it?"
yeah,
You know.
yeah. I think a lot of people, I think a lot of folks stuck with it for the duration. I think people got in early and stayed. I think that's why it was able to sort of
Make the
run as
80,
long as it
making
did.
80 issues and then
Yeah,
another 20 spin-off things
yeah,
and then other appearances of the character because you knew it was finite. I mean, they went into it knowing it was finite.
yeah,
So that helps. But all the other characters that he's bringing in, like Phantom Lady, because there's going to be, you know, there is a version in Jack's time period.
yeah, yeah,
You're not going to see the Jester again, but you're going to, you know, you're just going to know that you know, what
yeah,
made Ted. But you were we were talking about this earlier. I think it was on the last episode, but you know, about 30 minutes early for us, that Ted was not fleshed out.
yeah,
There's not a lot to Ted before you
yeah,
get to
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah. Well,
J,
Golden Age, that, yeah,
Golden Age, yeah. And
yeah, that was it. Golden Age was. I remember reading Golden Age and just being really, really sort of slightly wrong-footed, but really actually impressed because I remember, I wouldn't have read his appearance in the Will Payton book by that point. Imagine it would have been. I'd like to think what anyone that had read that would have thought at the time. But I mean, Ted was like he was pretty much a blank slate, despite the fact that Starman had lasted as long as he had. Excuse me, back in the day, and despite the fact he popped up, you know, now and then in All Star Squadron and now and then in the JSA JLA crossovers, they hadn't really done very much with him at all. So it took James and Tony did so much with him, and it's nice to read stories that sort of retcon ones set in the past of this new fleshed out version of the character that they've brought us. It kind of adds a bit more to it, I think. And I think, you know, I found that when I've been reading along with the 40 stories when you've been doing them, I'm kind of projecting the James Robinson version of Ted onto this guy.
I
And
do it every time I read a Golden Age one.
imagining it's him. Is that when you read a Golden Age Sandman story, it's not difficult to imagine it's the Matt Wagner Guy Davis version. You know, it feels like the same guy. Some of the characters, like the the purple and yellow costume Sandman, doesn't feel like anything Guy Davis or Matt Wagner might have done. But quite a few of them, you know, some of the characters, they've maintained a sort of a consistent characterization throughout their history. Like Jay Garrick has always felt like Jay Garrick, but Ted, as we've said, was such a blank slate. You know, there was nothing really to be consistent with, and that's why I think what James has done with him in this book is so good because it's so much. There's a lot of potential.
Yeah, and that's the whole father-son thing. It's very natural.
Yeah,
And dramatic at times. I mean, that early in the early issues where Jack busts on his dad's costume and he tells and Ted
that's
goes,
right.
"You can leave now."
Yeah,
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 where he is that Ted is, you know, he's been through the trenches.
absolutely.
And I think what his problem with Jack is Jack, he knows Jack's like him,
Yeah,
but Jack doesn't. I think Ted has not shared anything because of the post-traumatic stress.
yeah, and that's interesting
Because it
that
just,
these
you know.
all these last couple of times past, you know, this one and then the one we previously did with Phantom Lady. I know, sorry, the one with the demon. They both flesh out flesh that out a little bit more because you know the demon one has Ted starting to doubt himself, and this one makes mention of when Ted had been in the sanitarium and how he's still a bit, you know, not quite there yet. And it's nice that James still, even though it's Jack's book, he's still treating Ted as an important character and doing good work with him throughout, I think.
Yeah, is. I was thinking about the Ted stuff too, is that he's writing in here that he's catatonic. because there's a scene later on when we find out who the Starman in 1951 is.
Yes.
That Jack, that Starman, and Ted are all in the same room at the same time, but Ted is oblivious to it because of how bad his mental health is.
That's right. Yeah, yeah.
I forgot. I was thumbing through and forgotten that, and we're seeing these times past serve a purpose. I was thinking earlier when I was caffeinating like hell because it was early. It's early here, even though I had to get it for a call. But I was thinking about why isn't anyone just putting all the times past in chronological order in a trade?
Oh, that's a good idea. You could just dig them all out and read them. Oh, you would. Yeah, you would.
I would just, it might be some side project that I figure take them all and put them in chronological order and read them in that order as an experiment because or do I want to read Ted straight through, so I have to put the times past have to be issues that I read.
Yeah.
If you go into Mike's Amazing World, you can do it chronological or publishing.
Yeah.
And they do a good job of figuring out Silver Age and Bronze Age bad continuity. Marvel tried to map it out. I bet that person drank. Whoever had to keep it in a book. I'm thinking about, because it's like continuity now. We complain about how fluid it is. And it's like, I got to go, well, when I was reading stuff, it was only like 15 years since certain things had happened.
Of course, yeah.
So you only had 15, 20, 25. Once you got to about 50 years of continuity, it's just going to have to be fluid.
Yeah, that's it. It has to be. I remember when I was a kid, like when I was in my first sort of Marvel zombie phase at the age of 12, sort of 13, it was like that was the mid-80s, and there was, as you say, it was only 25 years worth of stuff. So but there was still a sense that I could understand it all.
Yeah, and put it in your brain in some reasonable timeline.
If I got an issue of Marvel's Greatest Comics that reprinted something with the Overmind, it'd be like, all right, that's the same guy that was in that issue of the Defenders that I got the other day, right? And it's when it's contained like that, and it's impossible. It would be impossible now, I think, I
think the only way to do it nowadays is by a single creator or a group of creators. Like Ghost Machine is doing their kind of universe, but it's not primary. It's not really superhero. People have powers and abilities, but no one's running around in a fucking cape. And it doesn't go well because in the future because you're reading something set after a nuclear war and before. And it's only but they're creating it and it's working. But it's like what Busick, Anderson, Sinclair, and Ross do with Astro City is you folks we were talking earlier is this issue very much reminds me of an Astro City issue.
Yes,
it is. It has the artistic feel to it. I mean, Brent didn't take didn't take a lot of time off, and that's a good thing.
Yeah,
I love that band so much. I'm thinking about buying Strike Force.
This does. You're right. This does feel an Astro City story because from the point of view of the heroes aren't on the full spotlight. The bad guys, Bobo and the Shade, they're kind of like working sort of.
What happens
I wonder if it's
a little more real world because that's Astro. That's Astro City's conceit. I don't know, concept is you're always, even if it's the hero's life, you're always seeing it from the life of an average human being.
Yeah, from the man is the
man of the street, but on a grand scale. Because some of the sci-fi elements, you're going, it is. It's her. When the little girl from the Fantastic Four goes on that little tween adventure.
Got you. Yeah,
but this feels like it. It really has that thing, and it is bringing more depth to the character. It is where Ted is being built up to where, because, his arc is coming clear. His arc ends before Jack's. And we see there's a lot of good Ted as the father waiting at home.
Yeah.
There's a thing about him helping and him leaving him an AI that's in his thing to help Jack.
Of course, I loved all that. That was great.
Do, and that that's a trope that is overdone, but I think it works here.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
more Ted. I haven't read Ted in a bit. I'm about to get to the weird art.
Yeah, you bet. Are you going to do some more Ted Adventure Comics issues?
Yeah, I am. I just folks, I don't like recording alone as much as I used to, and I don't mind doing it, but with work being a little more hectic and other guys for unforeseen things
Yeah.
over the last like
Yeah.
18 months, I've just not done as much. I kind of want to have a conversation and bring things, but I
Sure.
I wanted to do some catch up and just kind of go over. I may
Yeah.
really, I want to get to the new artist.
Sure. Yeah.
And I kind of want to talk about them, but I may kind of speed through the rest of them because it's a lot. I want to cover it, but it's got to be like a 5-minute issue kind of thing. So really,
Yeah. I don't think anyone would mind too much
Yeah.
if that was
I
the way
might
you
just
did
stick
it,
them at
you
the
know.
end of a bunch of different Opal cities. Just do like a 5-minute on an issue.
Yeah.
So they're
That'd be all
sprinkled
right.
in there because they're
That'd be
fun. But the other artist is really the Gershwin, and he is one of that Gershwins. He is
Oh,
related
wow.
to the Broadway Gershwins. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Didn't know
And
that.
it
That's
looks,
cool.
and if you ever seen the latest Starman art?
I've got both volumes there.
Okay, you know, the ones stuff
I'll
that's in the
flick through it.
photostat, where it's definitely a photostat of a page.
Yeah, I'll
It's
flick through them.
reminds me of McKay. I think we've talked about this. It reminds me of Little Nemo.
Yeah, because they didn't do as much of a restoration in the second volume. But I'm glad they
didn't.
I'm glad they
just,
got it. Glad
well,
they did it,
it's
of
you know,
course.
do it later or do an oversized of it. I don't need an oversized of it, but I think it would be for some Starman fans. I think they'd pick up. It wouldn't be that big,
Yeah.
but I really like this one.
Me too.
We're about to get into space, this is the era where I've only read it twice. I've only read this from here on through twice because they never came out with a trade.
That's
and then
right.
eventually I had to sell stuff. I sold stuff, and so I didn't have it until
I remember
the omnibuses came out.
The space issues. I was locked in and fully on it from the point it started. And
it moved to the top of your read
regularly
pile.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was loving it, and I regularly reread each issue a couple of times before the next one came out. So memories of them are quite strong. When I read it all in lockdown, I was really surprised. Yeah,
I would read it twice when I first got it because I was like that with certain books, and one because I worship Brent Anderson's one of those artists to me. It's like if he's doing it,
yeah.
All right, so folks, David, where can people?
This is good. You can find me every week on the Earth 2 podcast. I also make regular contributions to the Doctor Who podcast, The Power of Three. If you want to see what I'm doing in my life, you can find me on Instagram _DAVAD. So there we go. That's what to do. And and everything. Ross, thank you for having me. It's been a very productive afternoon.
It's been a fun morning talking about Starman and comics and other things because we, like always, we spoke for about 45 minutes before we even started, just catching up with and giving war wound stories.
Yes. Yeah, two old men fighting through our scars to bring you this quality conversation about comic books. We hope you appreciate it.
Yes. I let my foot out of the boot to air out while we were doing this and to press it at a 90-degree angle.
Amazing.
As I heal. All right, folks, as always, be safe, be smart, please be kind to one another, and read some comics. Read some Astro City.
Yeah, great idea. Cheers, folks.
All right, we did it. We got 3 in the can.